Hey YouTube, today I'm going to make some dried ginger, ground ginger. You probably see ground ginger in the spice rack. If you were watching my last episode making the pumpkin butter, you saw that we ran out of ginger. So, better done yourself, let's make our own. It's actually really simple to make ground ginger. The people over at the McCormick Company get a pretty penny for some ground ginger. I'm going to show you a real easy way to make some ground ginger that'll save you a lot of money and taste a whole hell of a lot better too. So to make your ginger powder, all you really need is just a chunk of ginger and a good sharp knife. And then we're going to take the slices and dry them. So to do this, what we want to do is, I'm not going to peel the whole thing. I am going to cut off any kind of creepy looking parts. Here's a little bit of mold maybe, some dirt. I don't want that in there. That just trims off. That doesn't look great. Otherwise it looks good. Next step, just slice this into the thinnest slices you can make. Your usual slicing technique. See what we're doing? Holding the knife thusly, using this extra knuckle here to kind of gauge back and slowly bring this finger back so that we can make nice thin slices. I'm resting my knife against this knuckle, and that's my depth gauge. About 1/8 of an inch on these. If it gets too short, put it on a flat side and keep slicing. This is a little dry. It's not really rotten. This part is a little rotten. I'm not going to put that in because it probably won't have a good taste. Keep slicing. Keep your thumb back. Everything's behind this knuckle. Once you've got all your bits sliced, line them up on some cookie sheets or some cooling trays. And then just spread them out so they're just barely touching. Try to maximize the amount of airflow between all the pieces. Pick out any pieces that you don't feel like eating. If you find any pieces while you're spreading them out there too thick, slice them a little thinner. You want to try to get these as thin as possible without spending all afternoon slicing ginger. That looks good. Next we want to get the ginger into the oven at a real slow setting for a couple of hours to dry the moisture out of it. I'm going to set the oven at about 150 degrees. And then we can put our racks of ginger right in. Word of caution, you might have an oven, you know your oven better than I do, you might have an oven that gets real hot when it's preheating. In that case, don't put the ginger in while the oven's preheating. I know this oven just comes up to temperature slowly and I don't mind putting things in it while it's preheating. But if your oven gets too hot while it's preheating, let it come to temperature and then put your ginger in. I'm going to use this wooden spoon just to prop the door open a tiny little bit, just to create a little bit of a crack here so that the moisture can come out of the ginger. We'll check this in at every hour or so for the next couple of hours. So here the oven's been on for a couple hours. I actually ended up turning it up to 250, just a low, slow oven. But what I'm left with is just a super, super crumbly, dry ginger. It's actually starting to brown a little bit. Might have gone a little too far. But let's get this out and let's get this ground up. Now that we've got our ginger slices dried out from the oven, we can let them cool a little bit. We're going to grind them up. For that, I'm just going to use a typical coffee grinder. This one I've had for a while. I only grind spices in it. And I think the best thing to do in between grinding different flavors, last thing I ground in this was, believe it or not, dried garlic, which isn't going to go real well with my ginger powder. Take a little bit of kosher salt. Give that a whirl, grind this up, and obviously throw this away, but this will give something just to break up the little bits and clean the inside of the grinder out. And that way you don't have to worry about transferring those flavors between batches of stuff that you're grinding. Salt. And it just makes a fine powder. I mean, this would probably be great for popcorn salt. If you want to save that and sprinkle that on your popcorn, that's how you make popcorn salt. I'm dumping mine, I got lots. We'll probably do 2 batches here. From here, I've just got a fine screen, a sieve. You're going to want to experiment and see what screen works best in your kitchen, what you've got that'll work. But just give this a little sift. You can get out any little fibrous pieces or any pieces of skin that don't quite dry for you. Just hitting this against my knuckle. We got a little bit here. I'm going to see if I can grind that again. Add the rest while we're at it. And I think what's left is just this fine kind of, it's mostly fibers. I mean, you know how fibrous ginger is when you cut it up. I think that's what we're left with here. And it's not pulverizing, it's not powdered, so I think it's safe to throw this part away. And what we're left with is this beautiful golden, fresh ground ginger. So the only thing left to do now is refill my lonely ginger spice bottle. Couldn't have planned it much better. And so with a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, you can save a lot of money. That big hunk of ginger you saw that I had a couple of hours ago, I think I paid $1.50 for it. A jar of ginger is what, $4 or $5 from the supermarket? So it saves some money. And this stuff is amazing. Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share this video with your friends. Let's get some more subscribers on the channel. Thanks for watching.